Dr. Brian, I'll hand it off to you.
Thank you, Aaron. So happy Thursday, everybody. And yeah, like talking about camp, talking about MLX coming up, this ties in a lot to what I want to talk about today. Just got 15 to 20 minutes for you all today. It's going to be short and sweet, but powerful. It's a bit of a call to action today. It is going to be inspiring. It has action steps, but it's also a wake up call because it's a call to action. I just feel where we're at right now. We need to step up our game. I feel the rate which we are working at, the rate of implementation, the rate of accomplishing things. And this is in my office, this is in your office, this is in Max Living as a whole. It's just too slow based on what's actually happening out there in the world. I feel in the last while there's just been more distraction or sideways energy that's taken us away from the best path we could be on right now. And if we are going to achieve the big mission, the 2048 vision of saving and transforming lives and changing the way people view and manage their health from above down, inside out, it just isn't going to happen at the rate we're going at right now. And so, in my experience, the only way we create more urgency in ourselves and in our teams and take the give a crap quotient up is to understand what the alternative is. When you get and you understand how crappy the outcomes are and the lies and deceit that people's lives get sold to for money outside of our offices, then I feel you can stand in that gap of injustice with confidence and you can lead with the urgency that's really required. But I feel it's also easy to get away from that and get comfortable in this middle mediocrity where everything's just okay, and we get focused more on our comfort and what's easy versus the mission we set out on, and we get stalled. Like I feel we're stalled now, and it's what I want to talk about today. And I know others of you on the line feel the same way. So it's time to start taking action. So if we go back in time a little bit, astroturfing was a big conversation just before COVID, and people were shining a light on this, and it was the concern and the outrage around it was becoming a real lightning point or a lightning rod for change. For those who don't know what astroturfing is, it's the term for a fake grassroots movement. So drug companies out there, they'll go out and they create these fake social media groups where people are paid to say that they love the product and they love the drug and how great they think it is. They're paid actors posing as patients, and they pay medical experts to say how great the medication is. So when any layperson tries to look up the medication, all they get is this good news, and they get these reports from these, again, quote unquote experts, that the chance of cancer or the side effects from it are all hearsay, and it's not supported in any of the research. And they got all the numbers just by manipulating the stats to get the results they wanted, so they could get the snippet or the headline they wanted. So basically, it's just about putting out so much noise and so much information that it hides all the real information and the real science and the truth. But for some reason, that conversation, which was that lightning rod, it stopped when COVID came along, as the conversation seemed to become just about COVID. And even though like astroturfing was getting much worse around everything that surrounded the COVID approach by medicine, and post-COVID, it feels like it's just been forgotten, and everyone's just happy that we're clear of these COVID controls. But let's look at what the stats show right now. So Blue Cross Blue Shield has a study out there, the biggest insurer in North America, that shows 8 of the top 10 health complaints are seeing double-digit increases right now and affecting younger generations harder than ever before. Meaning more people need solutions now, or they are going to face worse life with worse health than ever before in our history. So these 8 things that are getting worse and seeing these double-digit increases are depression. Depression is a neurotransmitter issue, so the nervous system has to be part of that conversation. The second one is substance abuse. That either starts as or for sure turns into a neurotransmitter issue. And so again, the nervous system has to be part of that conversation. And for those of you who remember our work with the Dream Centers years ago, it's why our work with them had such great results people on Skid Row, again, affecting the neurotransmitter part, which allowed them to get away from the substance abuse pieces of it, right? Hypertension, which for the CAs on the line, high blood pressure, right? Science shows that a C1 adjustment has a better result in high blood pressure than taking 2 blood pressure medications at the same time. Hyperactivity, where in medicine, they think giving hyperactive kids that stimulants are the solution. When we've all seen, if you start to adjust them, guess what? Their nervous system calms down. They adapt better to the environment. Digestive issues, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. Those are the top 8, right? Has anyone ever seen any results with any of those things in your offices, right? Like we all have, and we see them all the time when we apply the 5 essentials. But what do people get for solutions if they're not in your office, right? For any of those 8, every single one of those is a pill. And every single person on the planet knows all pills come with what? They come with side effects. So there is a real world price for taking that pill. And everyone knows that the cause of any of those problems that they're given pills for, the cause is not because of a lack of medication in the body. You don't get any of those things on the list because of a lack of antidepressants in your body. You don't get any of those things on the list because of lack of blood pressure medication in your body. You don't get any of those because of lack of cholesterol medication in your body, or diabetes medication, or Ozempic in your body, right? Yet that is the predominant solution, and likely the only solution, unless someone like you steps up and gives people a better option. It has to be you, because the other one, they're being sold down the road that makes money and maintains control. That same study also points out that major health decline is now shown to start at age 27 in that model. So major health decline starts when you're 27 years old. And this is all happening on our watch. So where's our urgency? Where's our concern? Do you know about this? Do your teams know about this? Are you talking to them about it? Like, what are we doing about this? BJ Palmer in the Green Books used to talk about becoming weary. And I want to shine the light on this, because the longer you do this, the longer you've been around, it gets to be an old story, but it's still the story, and it's still the truth. And there are millions of people who are still waiting to hear it, and it has to come from you. There's studies out there that look at who are the best doctors, right? And the research, it's on medical doctors, so it's who's the best diagnostician, right? In those studies, they look at the 20-year plus doctor, and then the doctor who's been around for 2 to 5 years. And you know who turns out to be better every single time? You'd think it'd be that 20-year plus doc, right? Because of all their experience and all they've seen and all they've done. But every single time, it's the 2 to 5 year doc. And the reason it shows up every single time is that at some point, doctors, and this is people in general, including all of us on this line, at some point you decide you've become good enough. And as soon as you decide you've become good enough, everything you've done before starts to fall apart. And to the point where not only do you stay the same and you plateau, but you start to degrade over time. The difference is those 2 to 5 year docs, they're still working at getting better. They're still working on perfecting their processes. They're still excited by their big why, and they're not numb to the fact that people are being lied to. And and it's costing them their quantity and their quality of lives. Those 2 to 5 year docs, they're still engaged, right? When I first came to Max Living and I saw firsthand over 30 offices doing over 1,000 a week, I asked, how does some of the biggest chiropractors in the history of our profession, how do they stay so fired up? Right? Like they always seem to be on, they always seem to be excited, they always seem to be engaged. How do they do this? And you know what I found out? And this should be a checklist for everyone. They always got on calls. They were always on the Tuesday and Thursday calls. They never missed any of them. They stayed away from the fringes and the gossip and the negativity that can come from people who are not engaged. They stayed focused on the injustice they saw for people and their health and what needed to change. And that compassion fed them, and it kept them energized and excited for the difference they were making in the world. But when you don't do that, then the distractions and the whispers and the hints of the BS, of the people who are not engaged in the mission, they start to take root in the mind. And this is when you get weary. And this is when you lose your motivation, and you lose your focus, and you lose your vision. You wonder how it's possible that we have chiropractic groups that are fighting chiropractors for their right to take x-rays, or that they're fighting that chiropractors should prescribe drugs, right? They got weary and lost their vision. They went for what was the shiny thing, the easy thing. They got away from the truth. They got away from the principle. If it gets away from transforming the hearts and minds of a nation, away from this mechanistic medical BS that ruins lives, into a more vitalistic chiropractic mindset that we know restores life, then it's off purpose. It's off purpose, and you are off course. Science says there's 3 things it takes to achieve goals. There's the people. It's the people in Max Living. It's the people on your team. It's the people you engage in your community. Number 2 is the systems. We have great systems. One thing that sets Max Living apart from everyone else is our systems, the triple promo. Give people the principle. Teach them how to apply the principle. Learn the 5 essentials to avoid the thoughts, toxins, and traumas that cause subluxation less in life. And then give those people the opportunity now to help others that also want the truth and better health. And then you just repeat, and you keep repeating, and you keep doing that until you start to transition and transform your community. And then number three to achieving goals is your choices. What we do, what we don't do, and what we pay attention to. So I encourage you, look up the facts of what the realities are for health for people outside of your practices, so you understand what these people are up against, and it stays top of mind for you. Pour this into your teams so they know what the alternative is, and what happens to people who do not become part of your office, because when we can all appreciate the massive difference between the 2 different paths, right? The 2 different roads that exist for people, either inside of your office or outside of your office, you become more committed and become better at leading people down the right path. And I get it. It's a harder path. It takes work, but it's the path that leads to the outcomes people want for their lives. It leads to the fulfillment and the difference we all said we wanted to make in the world. So that's what I got for you guys today. Go to work today in improving your understanding of the challenges people in your town face when it comes to health. Share it with your teams, lead and inspire your team with the truth. Thanks, everybody. Have an awesome day.